services sector, something which has been almost like a holy cow for so many years. And I fully reciprocate what you have said. In fact, we stand to gain more than anybody else because end of the day, our lawyers are top class and will have a huge opportunity opening up for them across the globe. And of course, we can make sure that we provide adequate safeguards for the lawyers in the lower courts and the larger ecosystem of the legal profession. But we'll certainly engage with you and other luminaries before we take any decision. And I think we have already set up a committee with the Law Ministry to examine this issue in greater detail. Thank you very much, Mr. Purnachandra Rao Surapanani, for joining us at this pretty ungodly hour from the US. I don't know which coast you are in, but grateful for your participation. It only shows the commitment that your team and you as the leaders, the national president of the IACC and IC, have towards the cause of furthering Indo-US bilateral trade and economic ties. Thank you very much, Mr. Raman Roy, Dr. Vivek Lal, all the other dignitaries. I saw Mr. Michael Rosenthal on the call also. Wonderful to see a lot of participation of this event. I just saw a message on the chat box that we have 3,487 viewers on this call. Frankly, you should have ideally done it at about 5 or 6 in the evening, considering that a lot of people from the US could have also joined. But I'm really impressed that you've managed to get such wide participation. But the subject that you have chosen is truly very interesting. The fact that I'm addressing you for the second time, I recall last year, sometime in September, I had attended the first Indo-US Services Summit that was held by IACC. But your idea today to discuss leveraging services sector to trigger the post-COVID-19 economic recovery is truly a very interesting statement. And no wonder you have such a large participation because in some sense, the topic itself is a problem solution statement. You stated the problem, the post-COVID-19 economic recovery. You provided the solution, one of the solutions at least, how we can leverage our services sector. And I'm delighted that the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce, who has always been at the forefront of strengthening the Indo-US relations, has initiated this dialogue on a very critical time and subject. I'm sure a lot of new ideas will be generated out of your deliberations through this engagement, through the Services Summit. The country has huge expectations from all of us, policymakers and important stakeholders, when it comes to rapid economic recovery post-COVID. And clearly, the services sector is one sector which holds a lot of promise going forward. US and India, we are natural partners. It's something that's elementary to anybody. Two vibrant democracies, countries with transparent ecosystem, countries who have very, very much like-minded policy, procedures, plans. Two countries who share deeply the values of equality, liberty, democracy, freedom of speech. And therefore, while on the geopolitical front or the strategic front, India and the US are working very closely together to provide peace and stability both in the region and across the world. I think the services trade will also play a very, very important role in our ever-growing relations. It has played a pivotal role in the past. It has led to greater people-to-people cooperation and engagement on several fronts. And I do hope today's engagement will also set certain benchmarks for taking this forward in a very, very fast-track mode. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 decades ago, and most of you on the call will recall, the entire world woke up to the new reality of the Y2K bug. I remember there were all kinds of stories floating around at that time, to the extent that there was a theory that the world may come to an end. All processes may collapse. The entire technology ecosystem will come to a standstill. In fact, that's the cusp, the turning point of India's engagement with the world on the IT side. I remember a lot of Indian IT companies at that point of time providing pools of talent to the United States, to companies and corporations all across the world to deal with the Y2K bug. Probably many of our top IT companies made their first few millions at that point of time. But the bigger point is the world recognized India's capabilities during the 99, 2000, 2002 period. And that's when, for the first time, the world saw in India skills, capabilities, deep commitment, confidence, abilities never before experienced by the world. It changed the perception of India from the traditional thinking to a modern state with highly educated, skilled boys and girls, full of ideas, confidence to engage with new technologies, new challenges. And from there, we have seen the rapid growth of the IT sector. In fact, Bengaluru, in some sense, the Silicon Valley of India, Hyderabad, Gurugram, Pune, all these centers really started emerging in the last 2 decades. In fact, it is a coincidence of history that 21 years later, from the time that a virtual virus, the Y2K virus, led to the growth of this industry, also the growth of physical infrastructure related to the IT industry, we are today engaging with each other in a virtual format, addressing a physical virus, the COVID-19. And the physical virus is now leading to an exponential growth of virtual services. From a virtual virus, the rapid ramp up of technology and the physical ecosystem. From a physical virus, the rapid expansion of the virtual ecosystem. That's the quirk of history, quirk of fate. But I was one of those who really enjoyed the virtual world, who enjoyed video conferencing, who realized I don't have to drive down to Taj to attend your program, then have all the other social engagements and spend 3-4 hours. Of course, forget the time coming down from Delhi to Mumbai for your program. Against that, in half an hour, we are sorted, done and finished with. And I thought that my efficiency grew exponentially during the last 15 months. But I must share with you that there's nothing to beat the physical connect also. And I'm missing meeting all of you. I'm engaging with you in person. And I do hope the world overcomes this pandemic quickly and we can all start getting back to I think, a hybrid future. That's what I imagine going forward. Something where we're going to work a lot through virtual means, but probably the gong will be hit. The last word will be had in a physical space. And I'm sure Dr. Lalit Bhasin will agree with me. You must be missing the courtrooms, Dr. Bhasin. I'm sure our friend from the US, Purnachandra, would love to once again have free flow of travel and movement up and down the US. I'm sure Mr. Raman Roy is now really eagerly looking forward that NASSCOM quickly moves forward to its $500 billion target, which they have very kindly accepted. And all of this is going to require government, policymakers, industry associations such as you, thought leaders, business leaders on this call, and all the young friends who are virtually joined on this call to work as one, because together we can move mountains. In fact, I must share with you that with a great deal of pride in all of you, in our countrymen, our business ecosystem, I share with you that throughout the last year and a quarter, the last 15, 16 months now, India has met all its service commitments across the world without failure. Right from the day one of the lockdown in March of 2020, all of you, in conjunction with government, moved very, very rapidly, faster than any other part of the world, I dare say, into working from home, setting up systems, moving hardware, creating backstop arrangements or back offices, or the safety net that you have. And largely, we were able to maintain our international obligations to the T without any stoppages or bugs coming in the way. To the extent that our services exports last year were back to 97% level of the previous year. And currently we are looking at a massive growth. I'm told, and you will probably bear me out, Ramanji, I'm told IT companies are hard-pressed to find good talent and are occasionally refusing contracts today for enabling more. It's a sweet spot to be in. And I compliment all of you for this wonderful achievement. Of course, hospitality, travel, tourism has taken a hit. We are conscious of that. We are worried about it. But at the same time, when you look at the television views of revenge tourism, and to be honest with you, I'm one of those who's just waiting for things to open up. And I'll be one of those who will be really out there looking for a break. So I'm sure all of those who are in the hospitality and tourism business also have good times to come. Just hang on in there. And anything we as government can do to help you in that, I assure you, you will not find us wanting. Today, India's youth are supercharged with energy. They have talent, they have ideas, they're full of enthusiasm. And I have no doubt that services in which India has very strong competitive advantages, if I may say, powered by our skills, powered by our startups, powered by our software solutions. All of these and many more will help the services sector to rapidly ramp up employment opportunities, business opportunities, income opportunities, work opportunities. And I do wish that all of you very seriously look at aggressive and bold targets going forward in different areas in the services sector. I'm sure most of you must have read yesterday a top Indian investor who announced that he's going to launch an airline. And usually the joke always was that the best way to become a millionaire from a billionaire is to start an airline. But the gentleman is known for his acumen in investing, and he had the courage of conviction to predict that going forward, with a lot of failures in the airline industry, possibly during the COVID period, he identified that there is an opportunity for a low-cost, large airline working to scale to provide services going forward. Now, it's bold entrepreneurship that made America. That was there in India from times immemorial. And I'm sure going forward, our entrepreneurs will be out there in the forefront with new ideas, new projects. Look at the 57 unicorns that India boasts of today. They were all young boys and girls, most of them, brimming with newer and newer ways of finding solutions to the problems of the world, creating organizations through sheer dint of hard work, and are today recognized the world over. Indian services also have the twin power of universal acceptance and universal attraction. The services exports, which were a mere $17 billion 2 decades ago, have leapfrogged to about $205 billion last year. That's a 12x increase. It's 12 times in 20 years. I dare say no other business in the world would have boasted of this kind of a growth. And knowing my friends in the industry, I am confident that our $500 billion mark is not going to be far away. You are going to achieve it, and you will come back to me saying that, Mr. Goyal, you underestimated our capabilities. We are actually shooting for $1 trillion. And ladies and gentlemen, it's possible, doable, and now is the time to plan for that. When we talk of the Indo-US partnership, we have a lot of complementarities, different strengths, different areas in which the US has comparative advantage, areas in which India can provide and support the US future. As we all are aware, the US is a hub of innovation, technology, research, quality education, and so much more. India has skilled and intelligent manpower, both technology and managerial, and we provide it at competitive prices. Uniting these two strengths, bringing together the US and Indian complementarities, frankly, make us an unbeatable combination. And therefore, the Indo-US partnership going forward At the political level, of course, we will strengthen, but on a business to business and people to people level, I'm sure organizations like the IACC will be at the forefront of deeper engagement with stakeholders across the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, India is now moving from a low-cost service provider to becoming a high-value add partner. We are focusing on end-to-end service delivery. Back offices in India are evolving into brain offices. We are transforming Indian offices and the way of working into centers for design, innovation, modern thinking. In fact, some of the world's largest service providers, technology companies like Microsoft, Google, have chosen to call India a home away from home and have established really large offices in India in recent times. And it has been a win-win for both the United States, their companies, and India and the people of India. We have seen very robust employment generation in this sector. I'm told that only in Q1 2021, we saw 69,132 individuals being employed by our leading IT firms, which is the highest ever in a quarter in the history of India. And clearly in the post-COVID world, restoration of livelihoods will be the first and most important step to recovery. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi is spearheading the mission of making India Atmanirbhar, self-confident, self-reliant, and engaging with the world from a position of strength, yet opening our doors to larger trade and services on both sides, opening our doors to greater degree of engagement on education, healthcare, travel, tourism, learning from the best in other parts of the world, importing what we need in India, where there are competitive advantages with the other side, and looking to become self-sufficient in areas where India has competitive advantages. But in a free and fair world, in a world with equal opportunities for countries across the globe, companies, businesses across the globe, to work in India, work with India, to invest in India, to attract investments from India. And I'm sure as we move more and more towards large economies of scale, both in manufacturing and services, will improve our competitiveness and also improve our capabilities in partnership with the best in the world. Our services sectors, as I see them going forward, will be far more resilient, reliable, robust, and clearly the way our entire services ecosystem is reimagining the future. I have no doubt that the services sector will be at the forefront of economic recovery in the post-COVID-19 world. The trinity of quality, affordability, and adaptability will power the fourth revolution in the services sector. In India, we are formulating standards also for the services ecosystem so that we can have very high quality of services which we offer to the rest of the world. We are also rapidly progressing to become one of the world's largest digital markets, be it fintech, be it edutech, be it telemedicine, in all these areas, from healthcare to home delivery, from telecom to technology. We are leapfrogging, and I'm sure the Indo-American engagement will see that ripple effect of leapfrogging and growth on both sides in the days and years to come. Clearly, in the future, as Dr. Bhasin rightly said, we have to look at newer areas of Indo-US cooperation, legal profession, chartered accountancy or accounting and management profession, agri-tech, fintech, hospitality, entertainment, and the AV services, audiovisual services hold a lot of promise. Cyber security is going to become more and more crucial. Healthcare, hospitality and tourism will once again get back into its flavor. So we have great things to do in the future. We have great opportunities in the future. And let's work together in that spirit of cooperation with the confidence of two strong economies, friends, partners, brothers, working together. In conclusion, I can only say, thanks to the services sector, today you will find a little bit of India present across every country in the world. If not anything else, you'll certainly find an Indian restaurant or some chartered accountant or some IT professional working in any corner of the world. And I've been to some parts of the world where I'd never imagined finding large Indian contingents. Countries like the Solomon Island. The chef was an Indian who had worked in the Leela, who came to take my Indian vegetarian order. In the country like Vanuatu, there was a reception with over 100 Indian businessmen. I don't know, maybe some of you may not even have heard of Solomon Island in its new name. It used to be originally one of those World War II relics, the Guatemala Bay where the war was held. So really, India has its presence felt across the world. I thank you very much for taking the footprint of India across geographies. And I'm sure, as Prime Minister Modi has rightly said, both India and the US, who are global engines of growth, will gain tremendously with this partnership. With such buoyant energy and positivity in our ties, in our relations, I invite the business communities of both countries to take part in this effort that the IACC has initiated to further give a momentum, a boost to the services sectors as the engine of recovery in the post-COVID-19 world. My best wishes to your services summit. May you all remain safe, healthy. I pray for your good health and safety. Thank you very much. Namaste.